Hello again. My name is basically for all people that know me. I'm the CEO of Connect Global, and this week, because we see a lot of speakers, a lot of people for this amazing diversity for crisis hackathon in the first ever global hackathon focused on diversity. And today is not about me; it's about Swish. So welcome, Swish, on our DSC TV. How are you?
Good. How are you doing? Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. So, can you introduce yourself to our viewer?
Totally. So my name is Swish. I'm a 23-year-old entrepreneur. I run a company full time here in Toronto called TrueFan. So we've built a social intelligence platform to help brands make smarter marketing decisions using data. We're really excited. We're a team of 20 people now. We've acquired a company out of New York called Social Rank. We've become a leader in the audience analytics space. And then throughout COVID, we've actually expanded our product offering to not only service enterprises and helping them identify some of the most valuable followers, but we're also now helping small businesses and creators as well. Past that, I love speaking. So I speak a lot on mental health and entrepreneurship. I've written a book on youth entrepreneurship that was supposed to come out this year, but sadly got pushed back to next year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I know. Pretty sad.
Oh, sad.
I know.
Okay.
And I'm a big Formula One fan. So Formula One, basketball, those are kind of two of my side passions. You can obviously see the right over there, the Papa shot in the back.
Yeah.
And those are just things that I love to be able to watch or play if possible.
Wow. So incredible. So, but first of all, I want to be sure. So recently you make some acquisition, like you acquire a startup, right?
Yeah, out in New York called Social Rank. And then we're actually in the process of acquiring our second company right now. And they're out of British Columbia. They're a company that specializes in first-party data generation. So we're really excited to announce that probably in the next 2-3 weeks.
Wow. And how do you make this acquisition? Because I think that when you do acquisition, that means you scale fast. So how did you scale so quickly your business?
Yeah, I think the first thing is to just have a robust, good platform that people want to use. That's exactly, I think, what we have is, we get people right now that organically find out about us from referrals or just by hearing about us on the internet, and they sign up for the product and they love it. So that's number one, is just the product itself is really good. We built kind of the world's largest social database with over 2.4 billion unique social profiles and 10 million audience reports for anyone to go through and filter and sort. So there's a massive piece of value in our platform that people come to us for. In terms of the acquisition side, I mean, I think it's all about, when you deal with a founder, you want to be able to unify your vision with theirs. And the vision that we have for TrueFan now isn't just within third-party data, the data from Instagram and Twitter, which is what we're currently doing. It's also within first-party data. So being able to directly get emails or phone numbers or mailing addresses from your customers, from your social media followers, so you can reach them in multiple channels.
Wow. That means, if, for example, if somebody else reach you with Instagram, like you just click on it and you can find the email, you can resend them a message, say, hey, you reach out to us from Instagram, and because all those things will be automate, like it's kind of automation, right?
Yeah, it's all automated. You get the information though through an opt-in model. So the consumer, the follower, has to opt in to giving their email or opt in to giving their mailing address. But the reason they do that is because they want to get involved in a giveaway. So the model that we're acquiring is a model where we're going to be able to work with a brand and they're going to be giving away something of value. Imagine we're working with the NBA and they give away a free signed LeBron James jersey. If you want to enter the giveaway and win that jersey, you have to put your information in and you have to share some information about you that the NBA considers to be valuable.
Yeah. So go to your narrative, because I love the way you introduce yourself. So many people can doing this thing, because it can take a time, it can take some experience, but due to the fact that you speak and you speak like more than 5 years and you have a lot of experience, you're a TEDx speaker, you are humble, you don't speak a lot about what you are doing, but you're also TEDx speaker, writer. So like, we are like this kind of real serial entrepreneur, because many people say, oh, I'm serial entrepreneur, but okay, serial entrepreneur of what? So it's not just create many companies, like create a company, but have different side, like being a writer, successful in writing, successful in speaking, successful in different domains, successful in basketball, right?
Oh,
That
hopefully.
is
Yeah.
the true serial entrepreneur. And focus on these things. So TrueFan, I love the name. TrueFan is sound like true fan, and also the name TrueFan. How do you start to storytell and find your narrow and your narrative? So how do you find this narrative that, okay, I want to involve in social intelligence, and also being a leaders in TrueFan, and on how to find a TrueFan, and also how to create a good storytelling?
Yeah, no, great question. I think to start off with, we wanted to build a story that was resonating with people. And so what we did is we spoke of a story where we said, hey, everyone in the world is a fan of something. You know, I'm a fan growing up of Lewis Hamilton, Michael Jackson, Kobe Bryant, you know, Serena Williams. Like, these were some of my idols growing up. And you know, for me, if I ever had them reach out to me, I probably would have died. Like, if I saw my phone and it was Kobe messaging me saying, thank you for being my fan, I would have died. So those were the types of moments that we wanted to create in people's lives initially, is we just wanted to go to a brand or go to an individual and say, imagine a world where people can be appreciated by the brands or the people that they care about. That's essentially how we started off the company. And that's honestly why the name TrueFan even came up, right? Like, initially we were actually called SuperFan. And then we had to change our name about 6 months in because another company had that name. And my mom out of all people was like, hey, why don't you call it TrueFan? And she put an E in the middle. So she did TRUE. And I'm like, that's not good enough. I'll take the E out and we'll put it together and we'll call it TrueFan. But that's, I think, just the best thing about our company is the core narrative is around creating beautiful moments in people's lives. Obviously, right now, we've become a broader data platform, but the goal is always the same, which is hopefully the brands that utilize our platform are creating memorable experiences for their followers through the data that we're able to provide.
Cool. So again, for many people don't know, the topic of today is a conversation, but at the same time also a thoughtful moment, because Swish is cool, is also a thoughtful leader. So the topic is how to create a good story in a diverse world. Right now, just a little bit context. Right now, we are in a society with a new generation called Gen Z. And some people talk about Gen Alpha. So I don't know what is your generation, but personally, I'm a Gen I. So, but also I know the Gen X because I'm very close to my father, and I know how Gen X thinks, how their brain run, blah, 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 and so on. And right now, this new generation having this kind of being sensible about the belief system, the value system, and the brain systems. So in this case, they are so diverse in terms of color, culture, value, intention, and subculture, because you can have two white people, and one is like K-pop oriented, and another one is country oriented, and they don't look like the same. They are white together, but they don't look like the same because it's subculture. So in this diverse perspective, and with this diverse generation, Gen X, Gen I, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, how you can be a good storyteller, how you can make a good storytelling for these kind of diverse people?
It's a great question. I think number one is to really simplify the audience that you're trying to reach. You know, when you start off with the narrative, you can't assume that you're trying to reach 7 billion people. You have to think, okay, who are the people that absolutely need to hear my message first? Who are the people that are in my area, in my country, in my province, in my city? I don't care how narrow you go, but think very clearly of who needs to hear my message first. Then start to tailor that message for them, to weed them in, right? Talk about, like, if you're, for example, you know, one of the narratives that is really popular right now is veganism, right? To become a vegan, to not eat meat. And veganism didn't just say to the entire world that, oh, eating meat is terrible, and here's why. It started off with a very subset audience that wanted to look for more nutrition in their food, wanted to be eco-friendly, and cared a lot about animals. Those were the kind of 3 people that they went after. And they started off with a very specific narrative around each, and then they started to unify that into a broader movement. So I think you have to be very specific with your messaging. You have to be very specific with the audience that you try to reach. And when you are able to do both, I promise you that you're going to be able to be more relatable, because you're not going to sound vague. You're not going to say, stop eating meat. You're going to be very specific to tailor your message to, here are the nutritional facts for veganism and why it's actually a better lifestyle than the lifestyle you currently have. And I know you're looking for this type of lifestyle right now because of X, Y, Z.
Yeah. And a great answer. And I like the way you you summarize and contextualize the answer. Another things, I want to give an example.
Right.
Like, first of all, we know all voice hype. Like,
yep.
We have before yep. internet, we yep. know voice hype, etc., etc. Yep. And the MSN, I'm the MSN generation. So in time, MSN was like the norm, right? And after you watch Skype rise up, and after Skype, Messenger, because due to Facebook, right? Yeah. And I think so. Discord said, so the voice apps and all messaging apps are so big. Right. We don't want to go like large. We will be focused just on one kind of people, gamers. Right. And they use this monopoly and raise the billion and billion dollars. And right now it's more accessible than anything. So do you think, in your thoughts, in your perspective, that when you want to create a great stories, like if I want to being the same range, then you start and your argue. So it's important to have a concept of start with a niche and have the monopoly on the niche, and after think like this thing think local and also think global, like this global thing start. Like, it's a great way to starting a big ambition, because sometimes people are so much ambition.
I understand that.
So much ambitious. Yeah.
But I understand that. But you got to also understand that on these social platforms right now, people think that I need millions of people to watch my content or to like my post or to comment on my post to go viral. Especially for platforms like LinkedIn, for example, which is obviously my forte. It's where I've built my community and brand. You really only need about 30 or 40 people who genuinely care a lot about you and will come and comment on your post and like your post for something to just start to go viral, to start getting that kind of momentum so that that post amplifies and is seen by multiple people. It's seen across countries. It's seen across borders. So I don't think that when you start off, with your messaging, you should think about everyone. I think you should, again, think about a niche. Think about building a community of 30, 40 people that love your content, are going to tune into it every single time you post, are engaging with you directly. You maybe have been able to engage back with them and actually get to know them on a basic level. And that way, you're building a small community that can roll into something bigger. It's exactly even how I blew up on LinkedIn, right? I didn't start off with 130,000 followers. I started off with 0. I for the longest time had maybe 50, 100, 150 followers. And I started to get to know every single one of those people a little more intimately. I got on a phone call with them. I talked about their life about them. I literally got to know them a little bit more personally, because the next time they saw my content, they knew who I was. And they were more willing to leave a comment and to engage with me because they knew my background. They knew where I was from. They knew what I was doing. So that's the type of engagement you need to really look for early on, is have a very specific messaging tailored to a community that you get to know, because that's how you build the momentum that you need to be able to go viral and reach millions of people eventually.
All right. I like what you say, because I like personally, I like your rhetorical. So, and the good rhetorical I have for this thing you explain is the more you serve, the more you deserve.
Yeah.
Because many times people want like, oh, I want to shine. I'm shining. But you must do pain. No pain, no gain, right? So it takes time. Like, call all the people talking about their life. So sometimes you don't want to, because sometimes it could be good news or bad news, but you must be engaged and accept these people at least and be there. And it's about caring and having some empathy, because the more you care, the more you're aware. So I love that. And so how did you bring all these things, all this way of being a good storyteller into your way you articulate your thoughts on speaking, in the same time on writing? Because I think it just a next move, like it's the same you, but you just articulate different way. You articulate sometimes by your company, you use
Yep.
your company to express yourself. Sometimes
Yep.
you use your voice that you speak, and sometimes you wrote. And I don't know, tomorrow you can make some masterpiece, but you
Yeah.
articulate,
Art.
all the
Yeah.
time your thought. How did you do that? And having the same, like literally the same narrow, because it's important also to have a niche and having a same voice no matter what. Like,
Yeah. I love writing. I love obviously speaking. And so for me, early on, I knew that speaking was going to be where I think a lot of my thoughts were being conveyed properly, because I debated for a long time in junior high and high school. I debated on the national team in Canada in high school. In university, I debated for 2 years. And when I stopped debating, I thought, okay, I'm a decent speaker. I'm a little charismatic. I have a lot of thoughts and I want to get them out there. So why don't I start off speaking at schools? So I started speaking at schools. I started talking to them about entrepreneurship. I started talking to them about the transition from high school and university and how to prepare for it. And then I honed my skills. I practiced. I went into gymnasiums where I got a massive applause. I went into gymnasiums where I didn't. People didn't really get my message. They were like, what the hell is this? It's kind of boring. And I practiced and practiced and practiced until I got into an agency, got able to do more corporate gigs. And now I do kind of corporate talks, I do school talks, I do talks and podcasts. And I love speaking because I feel like I've really found the topics that I genuinely care a lot about and can speak on experience with. And that's the most important thing for me, is even if I'm writing on LinkedIn or I'm speaking, I will only talk about things that I feel like I know a lot about, whether that's mental health or whether that's entrepreneurship. I will tell you as much as I know based off my experiences. But if there's a question out there where it's like, oh, tell me about Bitcoin, I'll just be honest and tell you, I have no clue what is happening in the world of decentralized currencies or Bitcoin. And I think that's actually one of the good things about me as a speaker or a writer is I am very relatable, because I will genuinely tell you if I know something or if I don't know something. And that's kind of the big thing that I've done when I've crafted my brand, is to not craft a brand as someone that knows everything. It's to craft a brand as someone who is really passionate about specific things. My friends also know me that way in terms of being passionate about things that are even outside of business, like Formula One, the TV show The West Wing, basketball, Call of Duty. Like, I'm very passionate about things that I know a lot about or care a lot about, and I love to be able to talk about only those.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, we know now how to literally articulate our thoughts, how to speak with different people. So what do you think about this trend? Right now we have two kind of trend, like like the social trend and also the climate change trend.
Yep.
In this area, how you felt, and do you think that we will be more inclusive than the past, or not? So what is your personal thought about what is all happening? Because it's kind of the world is in the mess, and people don't know how to do. Too much information, too much noise, and people are
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy at the end of the day people are using their voices. I think whether it's across climate change, whether it's across Black Lives Matter, whether it's across any of these movements that are becoming bigger and bigger, it's amazing that people are using their voices. They're fighting for what they believe. They're putting that out in the world. I think the problem is very similar to what you identified. The problem is that in this world of so much information, it's very easy for a narrative to be twisted and for misinformation to be spread and for people to start to think things about that movement that never actually existed. And I think Black Lives Matter is exhibit A of that. People have twisted Black Lives Matter to make it so that some people actually think that the Black Lives Matter movement started off as a movement against white people. And it's not true. It was never about that. It was never about saying that all lives don't matter. It was never about saying that white people's lives don't matter. It was mainly about saying that there is a subset of society, specifically African Americans, that are marginalized, that are discriminated against, that are blocked out of certain opportunities. And we need to spotlight that problem and fix it. And that's why they started off with Black Lives Matter. But again, in this world of total information where you are absorbed by the 24/7 news cycle, not just on your TV, but on your phone now, things are twisted and twisted and twisted, and assumptions are made, and misinformation will spread. And it twisted a lot of people into thinking that the initial movement or the initial goals of the movement were very different. And that's just the reality of the world we live in. I don't think that's going away anytime soon. I don't think there's a way to fix misinformation other than audit yourself and audit the information that you're reading online and that you're consuming, and make sure that it's actually true.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm totally agree with you. I'm totally agree with you because I think so. Right now, we are in some particular moment in our generation that if we don't if you don't try to have some critical thinking way to curate the information, you can be very, very in danger. Because right now, like people don't take the time, just slow down 1 minute, slow down and try to digest this information we receive, because we don't know who talk and what kind of information want to be like diffused. Like, and the question I have for you about that is, some people, because you work on social media with a lot of social media, and people say social media is good. Some people say social media is bad. Personally, I say, okay, social media is a tool, like a knife. If you use the knife to kill, you can cook. So like it's a tool, right? But it's important to know how to use it. But the problem is more people are like many people are starting to use Facebook without knowing, or internet without knowing what is internet.
True.
It's like you go in the jungle, and like your mama puts in the jungle and say, my kid, this is a lion, go in the jungle, and you don't know how to do it, right? So how to fix these things? I don't know if you can fix, because but actually social media shape our way to see in the world,
right,
and our way to think the world. So how we can escape, because it's and you know more than me, because your job is also you work with TrueFan.
It's a good question. I've thought about that a lot. Like, how do we fix? And I think the problem you're nailing is around literacy. It's around knowing how to use these platforms, knowing how to navigate them. I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, these tools, they didn't come with an information brochure. They didn't come with a how to use manual, right? We were just tossed into the world of social media very quickly. We were tossed into the world of Facebook. Before that it was MySpace. After Facebook it was Instagram. Then it was WhatsApp. Then it was Twitter. And then it was LinkedIn. And then it was YouTube. And then it was TikTok, right? Like, we've just been tossed into this world of just like more and more and more. And I think people really just got to step back, especially in the tech community, and say, whoa, what is actually happening here? Like, are the platforms that we're putting out actually doing more harm than good? That's why, I don't know if you saw a documentary called The Social Dilemma on Netflix. That is a phenomenal documentary, because it makes us think, is our usage of these platforms helping us or harming us? And the intentions of the platforms initially were to connect the world to each other. I think they did a great job in that. I feel more connected to the world. But I have also kind of lost a connection with myself over time, I feel. And that's something that's been very hard to swallow. It's why I talk a lot about mental health, is because one of the reasons that people lose connections with themselves is through social media, and through some of the negative implications with seeing other people and what they're doing, and thinking that you always got to do more, and not being able to really appreciate what you have around you and being grateful for that. So, I could go on and on, I think, about this. I think the biggest thing is just, if you're a parent, you need to audit your child. You need to figure out how they're using social media. You need to have a very strong discussion with them about the do's and don'ts. Educate yourself around that. And I think the second thing is, if you're an adult, you need to look at your world around you and think, okay, am I using social media right now for the right reasons? And there is, quote unquote, no right reason, but there is obviously the right reasons for your life. So if you feel like you're going on social media and you're getting even more angry than ever before because you're reading stuff that's triggering you, stop doing that. Obviously, you don't have to live in a world of ignorance, but there's other ways to get involved in what's happening in the world than Facebook. You can read the newspaper. People at some point did that. You can go on a news channel and watch TV. You can go onto a news website and just read articles on it, as opposed to having to go through Facebook, where it's filled with a ton of distractions. It's filled with a ton of people that can anger you. If you go on social media and you're feeling like, oh my God, my whole worldview is being twisted, stop following those people. Audit who you follow. Audit the pages you follow. Audit who is on your timeline. So for me, I'm very clear on that. I go on social media not to really post a lot about politics, not to post about negativity. I just like posting my memes. I like posting about entrepreneurship. I like posting about Formula One. I like to, at the end of the day, put out content that hopefully will make people smile or keep people informed just about the world. And so for me, I have a very specific purpose on social media, and I don't try to do too much on it either. And that's something that's helped me a lot, is being able to really understand that and move forward. And I think more people need to step back and kind of realize what they're using social media for.
Yeah, you're so right, because sometimes it's very important to just take a break. So because how our parents sometimes was like in their home, just do nothing, or just go to the garden.
Yeah.
Simple things. So, but right now, people say, "Oh, I will be like that without my cell phone." Yes, you can, because before you, someone being live without phone, right?
Yeah.
It is not too far away. Like I think in less than 40 years. Like
less than 20 years. Man, I remember what Facebook came out 2008. Like, God, it's like 12 years ago, before the world existed, I guess, of social media.
Yeah,
we were on our phones. we were on whatever, like MSN, Hotmail, chatting with iPad, AOL, whatever it is. Like, God, man, yeah, 100%. I agree with you.
Yeah, totally agree. And so, what your, if we digging on this topic, and because I like the yada stuff on this topic, is what's your, for example, because in the same time, I think we are the first ever CEO working with social media, having this great, like, okay, I work with social media, but I know the danger behind, and if you don't want to use, don't use it.
Yep.
You are the first ever CEO I ever seen, like, assume. Sometimes they don't want to assume. So what do you say to your client? When your client say, "Oh, you tell me not to use your platform, but you know that," what do you say to your client, for example?
It's a great question. I tell our clients, whether they're enterprise customers like a big brand or whether they're an individual, my job with building this platform, and working with a phenomenal team that are so capable, so smart, so grounded, is to provide you a product that allows you to go through social media quicker. So I don't want you to spend an hour going through your followers to figure out who follows me the most, who engages with my content the most, who's the most influential that follows me. I'm going to give you a simple platform that allows you to do that within a minute, and allows you to quickly go in, figure out what you need to know, and then get out. So I don't encourage them to use social media. I don't discourage them to use social media. The biggest thing we do is we try to simplify people's life when it comes to analyzing their data on social media. And I think what we're going to be doing, especially over the next year, is talking about the importance of owning your audience. Because there's a lot of people right now that have built up followings of 20,000, 200,000, 2 million, 20 million followers on platforms like TikTok that were getting very scared that TikTok was going to get shut down. And we're very scared that they would lose their entire audience that they had spent their blood, sweat, and tears building up. So the biggest thing I want to do is help those people across Instagram, across Twitter, across Facebook, across TikTok, take their audience from a rented property that they're playing on right now and into their own world, into their own channels, where they can continue to reach out to these people through email, through phone number, through direct mail, through multiple channels, as opposed to only relying on their platforms to be able to reach their audience. That's my goal going forward, to really own your data.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, I understand now. I read, because before I understand.
Yeah.
But I don't. understand the meaning. You
No.
can understand the platform,
Yeah.
the why. But
Yeah.
now I understand the real why. Because what? So what you say is very true. Okay, you are so famous on TikTok because we are the enterprise attention on TikTok, and you in less than 1 month you have 10,000 followers, and for some reasons, so you can continue to use TikTok. You lose because it's a lot of time you put there, etc., etc., and you can be painful because I know many people try to kill themselves because. But right now with your platform, that means okay. If a new social media appear, I don't care what it is. So I am a follower. If it's shut down, I just like export my, and I can import these followers, and I can say, hey guys, now I'm not available on this platform, but I'm available on this platform, and you can reach out to me, follow me. It's just like
it's migrating. It's basically migrating your audience from social media to other channels. That's what we're trying to help you do.
Yeah. So it's like crazy. Like I never seen that. It's crazy because I think any kind of social media want to do that because they know if they do that, it's like breed their own competitor. But having a platform like that is very cool for every influencer. Like I think you touch a real pain point of every influencer because sometimes they are very related to some social media and the social media down. It's crazy what is can happen. Okay, cool. Very cool. So I have two questions and we can done this amazing conversation. And I think I will invite you for my podcast. I have a podcast on happiness called the Act Basely. It's a podcast where I'm talking about what is happiness, why happiness is important, mental health, etc. All topics you like to. I like to. I will invite you to talk in more detail. And I think next month I will send you some proposition. So, right now I'm very addicted on TikTok on Clubhouse. Why Clubhouse? Because it's vocal. It's vocal. And you can do many things and being you don't need your attention is not focused on your you can do many things and just listen and be present. And I like this, and I think that this is my opinion. I want to know what you think. For me, the next revolution is vocal. Like I think
voice
people know now their attention is precious. And they don't want to use the E. They want to use the ear, then the E. And do you think is right? And if you're right, you are always thinking about okay, what will be the next version of TrueFan, or where if we go on this vocal world where we are the vocal SEO, vocal apps, all things, because actually the vocal ecosystem is not mature for the moment. Still like early adopter like us use this kind of platform. But I think in 5 years and 10 years, vocal will be the norm. What do you think about this?
I think voice is very popular. I think podcasts, Podcasts are big right now because people can take it anywhere. They don't need to watch, a video. They can basically stream their podcast just running or working out or wherever they really are at a very low bandwidth as well. I don't know. I don't think voice is going to be that popular though, that like people are making it seem like. People were very bullish, I think, about Alexa. They were very bullish about Google Home, voice assistants and stuff like that. I don't know if those will actually be as popular as people think it will be. Mainly because it's a culture shift. Again, like there's been an explosion of technology and we've been put front and center, in front of all these emerging platforms, in front of all these emerging technologies. And I think right now the appetite that the consumer has in the world for new technology is very low. I don't actually think that we are, as a society, embracing new technology right now because we're also thinking about the current technologies we use and the implications of it. So I think voice is something that'll continue to be dominant. I think podcasts will continue to grow. I think more people are going to focus in on it because it's just a very happy medium. But I don't know if voice as a whole industry is ever going to be something that TrueFan gets into. I think right now our focus has always been on third-party data, And I think where we want to go is first-party data, and it doesn't mean that that's in confrontation or in conflict with voice. If anything, first-party data could constitute an aspect of voice, but it's definitely going to be our goal for the next kind of 2, 3, 4, 5 years is around first-party data and having people own their audience.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So thanks so much for your attention. So can you share now the last word, because this hackathon is focused on diversity. We are not talking about your heritage, but if you can also talking about your heritage in terms of diversity too, as you want. But this time is like the last word, like just so talking about why you involved, what you think about diversity, etc.
Yeah, I think diversity is something that we're very for a TrueFan. We think it's a very important topic to talk about, inclusion and diversity. We have a team that's very diverse right now, like across genders, across sexual orientations, across race, across income levels, across locations even. And we're very proud about that, because it does actually mean that when we approach discussing topics, we all see different topics through a different lens, and that just lends itself to better ideas, better creativity, better kind of war of words, if you will, that ends up producing the best ideas. So I think diversity is obviously very important. I hope that companies continue to prioritize it, to promote it. I know there's a lot of companies that promote it for, I would say, the wrong reasons. I think there are a lot of companies that jump on the bandwagon of diversity and say, oh, we support diversity and inclusion. And then you look at their executive team, it's just all white males. So I think diversity needs to be something that is promoted across all levels of the business. It cannot just be, the interns that we hire every summer are diverse. It needs to be across the company. We're making efforts and we're making strides to be more and more diverse. And that's my kind of final word, if you will, on that topic.
Cool. So thanks so much to be there. It was a pleasure to have you on this platform.
Thank you.
And definitely we follow what you do, and we will spread out on Europe, and and also in everywhere we are based. And thanks so much for your time, for your attention.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.